You're watching KSWO-TV, your 7 News station in Lawton and Wichita Falls. This is 7 News. You can count on us.
She passed away Saturday from a form of cancer she'd been battling for 12 years. Geraldine Ferraro was a woman who tore down barriers for other women in politics after she became the first woman to be placed on a presidential ticket back in 1984, but did not win. Since then, women have ran for and won several positions in political offices. This year was no exception after Mary Fallin became Oklahoma's first female governor. One local activist says Ferraro's impact went far beyond being placed on a presidential ticket. 7 News Nightside reporter Garrett Cryer spoke to a man who knew Ferraro and found out how accomplished she really was. Garrett?
Sylvia, the man I spoke to was in San Francisco for the Democratic Convention in 1984 when Geraldine Ferraro was nominated. He was actually a delegate for presidential candidate Gary Hart, but he says he quickly learned to love Ferraro. He says her work before and after the campaign is what made the real difference in allowing women to move forward from that point on. Mark Ashton still has a Ferraro for Vice President button he picked up from the Democratic Convention in 1984 when he learned about all she had done.
Geraldine had a long history both as an educator and as a lawyer, and she had battled for women's rights not only in the courtroom for women who were victims of crime, but she had battled legislatively for women's rights. So naturally, with that type of history, it was just a real exciting thing for women and for men.
Ashton remembers what it was like directly after Ferraro's nomination.
It was more of a personal victory for the women on the floor. And I can remember they had a huge, almost like a Garrison U.S. flag hooked up to a piece of PVC pipe that must have been 30 feet tall, and they had a couple of those on the floor, and these guys were waving the flag, and it was just an exciting time.
Exciting because American politics was changed forever.
As far as being in party politics and the shaping of the party to be accepting of women in the highest of posts, she was instrumental.
In the years to come, women would run for every type of office, including Geraldine.
Geraldine herself ran for the Senate. She'd never made it through the primary process, but she herself ran for the Senate. Multiple women, you know, Barbara Boxer ended up in the Senate. I mean, there's all sorts of examples that you can give.
But as far as we've come, Ashton says we're still not where we need to be, and there's more work to be done.
We thought that was the end of any gender block for anybody to be nominated for vice president or for president of the United States. I still think some of that reluctance to put women on the ticket is still there. It wasn't as much of a breakthrough as we hoped it would be.
One other interesting note, Ashton says while Ferraro was the first woman to be placed on a presidential ticket, she was not the first woman to try. In the 1970s, Shirley Chisholm tried and got about 100 votes on the floor. Back to you.
Ferraro was first elected to Congress from New York's 9th Congressional District in Queens in 1978. She served 3 terms in the House of Representatives, running before Vice President alongside Walter Mondale.